Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United versus Watford. We are in the Red Room studio as normal on a Monday lunchtime, but there's only one thing to be talking about this week for Manchester United, and that is the massive defining week we have ahead. Man City, Huddersfield, maybe they should have dropped points, maybe they shouldn't have done, but we've all been saying that the reality is we've got to beat Watford and Arsenal this week, and just to be 8 points behind Man City, then they beat them to have any chance of the Premier League. Forget what City are doing, we've got to beat Watford and Arsenal. And how do you go about beating this Watford side that has been phenomenal this season? I think with Burnley they've been really good, but the thing about Watford is that they are scoring a lot of goals, and this Silva lad that Everton are desperate to get and need to get, why would he leave Watford? They are phenomenal. There's only one team that's really given them a good hiding, that's Man City, and I'll show you why in a moment. But Watford are a good side. United are going to have to really step it up. And unfortunately, Mourinho is going to be tested. He's going to be tested on his away form against decent sides. And we know what he normally does when he goes away. So, let's have a look. How will Manchester United line up versus Watford in the game? Well, to understand how Manchester United will line up in this game, I think the first thing that's really important is to understand how Watford line up and what is behind the Watford phenomenon. To be honest, it is Silva, the manager. He went to Hull with a very good record behind him on the continent of being a manager who doesn't lose home games. He very nearly kept a very poor Hull side up. He's gone to Watford, and yet again, that brilliant home record has followed him, and it's made Vicarage Road a real fortress apart from the City game, which I'll explain why in a minute. But Watford winning again at the weekends. They comfortably beat Newcastle away from home. They comfortably beat West Ham. They should have beat Everton. They're a bit unlucky like that. They are doing really well. They should have beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, but they shut up shop too early and ended up losing it 2-1, I think. So what's behind this Watford phenomenon, and how do they do it? Because I know a lot of you won't know a lot about them, but they have been tearing it up this season. Richarlison, the Brazilian left-sided player, very good going forward, but very tenacious as well. Their star player, you could say. But to be honest with you, across their team, even Tom Cleverley, someone will all know from his United days, is a bit of a revelation at Watford in relation to what he does. Now recently, if you look at the formation behind me, this is pretty much the way that Watford have been lining up of late. I must bring Ziegler in there as the left wing back, because he was phenomenal against Newcastle at the weekend. But it's sort of a 3-4-2-1 they do. But to be honest with you, around October time, when they were getting results as well, they weren't doing that. It was more of a 4-3-3 with Capoue and Decore, real genuine box-to-box players, and Cleverly sometimes dropping in a midfield 3, sometimes sort of playing as a sort of number 10, because he's the one who switches the play well. So Capoue's been on the bench recently, and they've gone to this sort of 5-2-3-1. But reality is, what Watford like to do is use these areas. Use the wing. Use the wing is what they want to do. They want to use the wings. They want to use the wings, and that's what they do it. They do it with pace. They do it with little triangles here, fullbacks down here, triangles, and get up the wing. That's what they want to do, and that's where they want to hurt us. And to be honest with you, their most dangerous side, as I've already adhered to, is the left-hand side. Ziegler, if that's how you pronounce it, was fantastic against Newcastle at the weekend, and Richarlison's a real handful. As you can already see, this man, Antonio Valencia, is going to be absolutely key. If he has a good game, that means Manchester United are going to have a good game, and that is why I feel that, I know it's going to disappoint people before I go back to Watford. I mean, Will Hughes has been playing really well at the moment. Revelation himself at Derby. Went a bit quiet his career, but he's doing well at the moment. Andre Gray up front. Not got a lot to his game. He's just a poacher. He's quick and he'll cause us a problem. Decore, like I say, real good box-to-box player. This is their star man, Richarlison, and cleverly gets involved and breaks things down, is tenacious and does really well. Don't want to move Fellaini there. And then they've got this back five, but it's all about the flanks. It's all about the flanks. It's all about moving up the flanks and causing teams problems and hitting them hard down the flanks. And United will have to be prepared for that. And I think that the way United will prepare for that is, I'm sorry, we may have liked the lineup against Newcastle. I know it was the lineup we wanted against Brighton, and it didn't quite work out, although we took the 3 points. I don't think we're going to see that Jose anymore. I think we're going to see the old default Jose, and I think we'll see De Gea in goal, obviously. I think Rojo will come in to play with Smalling. Young and Valencia should be the fullbacks, because we need pace and we need that ability down there to counteract a team that's going to really hit us down the flanks. And that's why I think we'll see Marcus Rashford for his defensive work, and Jesse Lingard, who wasn't involved at all. Some people thought he was dropped at the weekend. Personally, I always thought he wasn't being dropped. He was being rested for a game 3 days later because he wants Lingard and Valencia to put a shift in against Watford's difficult side, which is the left, which in some ways isn't a bad idea, and I'll come back to why in a minute. I think Fellaini comes into the team. He loves Fellaini. Obviously, Lukaku will play up front. Hopefully, he can have a decent game. Pogba and Matic will complete that midfield three, and Pogba and Fellaini will try and support where and when they can. But, very, very quickly, let me just say, the reason Manchester City dominated and beat Watford at their ground, and the only team really to do it, Watford, this season for a full 90 minutes, is one, because Man City actually are a good side at the moment, I have to admit it, but also two, they well and truly stacked this side of the pitch. They just played down one side of the pitch, and it totally and utterly did Silva's head in. Tactically, you know, you've got to give Pep a bit of credit there. They just went down their right-hand side, which was Watford's left-hand side, and because they swamped it, it's also Watford's more stronger side. Watford didn't really have couldn't really deal with it with their formation, and they got overstacked on that side, and Man City really did dominate them and took 3 big points against a very good side. In a game I actually thought Watford might cause them more problems than they did. I can't remember what the score was, but they did cause them problems. But you know, one, Silva will be prepared for that because it's happened to him once and he's a good manager and I don't think he'll let it happen again. And two, have United got the players to really stack one side and be effective? I mean, Valencia can do it, but we need a right winger. Have we got midfielders who are quick and dynamic enough to do that? Is Lukaku got the touch and build-up play to do that? I don't think stacking one side is really something United can do, because I think out wide, unfortunately, and I said it at the weekend, look, if Mourinho could get width, and he did try with Perisic, if Mourinho could get width in the side, the DNA of Manchester United fans, of what we've seen over the last few decades, is entertaining width, and it would be a winner chicken dinner for Mourinho. But I don't think, well, I don't even think, I know, and many United fans know, we haven't got the width anymore. So how do we cause somebody like Watford a problem? And unfortunately, as you can see, no Mata, no Martial in that team. I think it will be workmen like Rashford, workmen like Lingard, workmen like Fellaini into the team, and the flair players go out. Pogba and Matic will obviously start. This back four is going to have its work cut out. Lukaku is going to be digging a lone furrow up front. And I think United, for the next 2 games, unfortunately, as defining it as it is for Mourinho, I think we're going to see Mourinho go back to that those sort of away performances that he knows and trusts, where he goes and he tries to get a result by containing the opposition. And I said, harsh critics will call it parking the bus. I would hope with the players we've got in the team, the Lingards, the Rashfords, the Lukakus, the Pogbas, maybe we can cause them some problems on the break. But that's not, you know, I do believe that Watford is going to be a tougher game than Arsenal. Controversial or not, I really, really do. I don't know what you think. I'm just changing studio. I don't know what you think. Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be a really, really difficult game. And I think I'm worried, and I don't know what you think, I am worried about Mourinho and his future at Manchester United, because I back him. I think he's the right man at the moment to get Manchester United back on track, and there is definite progress there, and I don't feel he did get the backing, especially in relation to the wide players, that he needed in the summer. But I also am fully aware that there is frustration amongst the Manchester United support, frustration at the way we play, frustration about the manager and his tactics, especially in these away games. And I look at the next 3 games and I think, if he doesn't take 7 points, anything less than that, and 7 points really isn't enough, we need 9. If he doesn't take 7 points, I just think that this turning of some fans against what Mourinho's doing at United will only turn even further, and that's what I fear. And Watford, I believe, I mean, Man City at home is the 3rd game. That's going to be a real challenge because they're top of the league, and I'm not going to dismiss that, but it's a derby, so regardless of where you are in the league, a derby is a derby and players should be up for that. Watford or Arsenal, what's the more difficult game? I've got to be honest with you, I think Watford. I think if you put Silva in charge of Arsenal, Arsenal would be a better team. He is one of the best managers in the league, and he's got a very, very good setup with a certain set of players that work the way he wants them to work. And at Watford, it's tough. I don't think any of us should be expecting a win in this game, even though we have to win it. So, my prediction is that Manchester United are going to nick it 1-0. I'm not confident about that. I'm not confident about that, but I am going to go Manchester United to win it 1-0. Maybe it'll be a Fellaini goal, maybe it'll be a Lukaku goal, I don't know. But I just think Manchester United have to win it, and I think sometimes when we have to win it, we do win it. I think we will be not great to watch. I think Watford will be encouraging. I think we will be sat there watching it on the watch along tomorrow night, or today if you're watching it on the Tuesday, going, oh, this is not good enough, this is not Manchester United, it's really frustrating. But ultimately, if you're offering me 3 points now, we are in November still. I don't want our league season to be over in November, and it won't be over. What I mean is the title challenge to be over in November, and it will be if we lose tomorrow, because Southampton are going to City on Wednesday and they're going to get trounced. Then West Ham are going there on Sunday and they're going to get trounced. So if we don't take 6 points from Arsenal and Watford, we're going to be double figures behind City before we even play them. Worst case scenario, we could be as much as 13 points behind them when we play City, which would be like, I think we'd have to play for a draw at Old Trafford, because you can't be going 16 points behind in early December. So it's massive. It's a massive week for Manchester United, and we've just got to grind that result out. And I think Mourinho in his head, we know what Mourinho is. He will be thinking exactly that. So as much as I want Martial to start, and as much as I'd like to see Mata given another go, or even a Mkhitaryan, I think you're going to see workmen like Fellaini, Rashford because he works hard defensively, and Lingard. And I think Mourinho is going to go to revert to type. And it's not worked, has it? It hasn't worked. His away record against the top sides, and I do class Watford a top side simply because of their form this season and what they're doing at Watford. I think they're a tougher game than Arsenal, and our record against the top sides away hasn't been great, but we've got to do something, and I hope we do, because I don't want to be, fighting for Mourinho again later in the week if we lose. Thanks everyone for watching. Give us your comments below. I hope you've understood a little bit more about Watford. Decent side, and it's going to be a very interesting game. I can't wait for it, because I want to see United tested against good sides. I suppose my leaving sentence is I'm fearful of what we're going to find when we play a decent side, but we'll see. Thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like on the video. If you're watching on a Monday afternoon, we've done the preview a little bit earlier because we want to still do Skype show tonight at 8 o'clock where you can Skype in and have your say. So keep getting involved with the United Stand. I'll speak to you all very soon. Thanks for watching.